Good afternoon and welcome to Women Speaking. Today we'll be focusing on a theme that cuts deep into both the justice system and the politics of power in Uganda. On women's power, what does the appointment of Justice Abodo and the party politics say about women's place in leadership? This conversation comes at a significant time. Justice Jane Frances Abodo has become the first woman to be appointed principal judge, a remarkable milestone in the judicial system that has long been criticized for inefficiency and credibility gaps during her time as DPP. At the same time, we've witnessed the dramatic fallout of former Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, in the NRM party elections, an episode riddled with accusations of bribery and factionalism. So the question that we ask is this: do these milestones and setbacks reveal real progress for women in leadership, or do they expose the fragility of women's power in institutions dominated and entrenched in unequal structures? In the studio today, I have a panel of remarkable guests, and I'll start introducing them from my extreme left coming in. I have Miss Charity Ahimbisibwe. She's a seasoned election observer. Charity, welcome to the Women's Show.
Thank you very much, Nancy. I'm happy to be here, and a very good afternoon to all the people that are watching us.
Thank you so much. We also have Nakiiza Shalom, Ainemambazi. She's the CEO of, she's the team lead at Afrik Center, which is an NGO that she runs. Thank you for coming to the show, Shalom.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, our viewers. It's my pleasure to be here once again.
Yes, we also have somebody from Kampala. We have Nalongo Africa. She's an aspirant for the Kampala Woman MP seat. Welcome to the show, Nana.
Thank you, Nancy.
On which ticket?
Viewers. PFF. You should join us, Mama Miria.
Thank you. How is Kampala?
Kampala is it's promising. The ground is very fertile for me. And I love a challenge, as usual.
Okay, thank you for coming to the show. We have our Mama Miria Matembe. She's a senior citizen and a child of God, our show favorite. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I have been away for some time now. I
2
feel
weeks.
let me go and see what is going on. So I'm glad to be here once again. I'm really out of touch with whatever has been happening in Kampala because I've been up country.
We're always happy to have you, Honorable. And we also have Winnie Twinomugisha, a former aspirant for Ntungamo District Woman MP. You are also in the NRM primaries, Winnie?
Not really.
No. Oh.
Yeah, not really. Actually, now PFF.
Now PFF.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, our viewers, and thanks for Civic Space TV. Thank you, Nancy, for inviting me for this show. I'm really happy to be part of this panel.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll start hot with the political climate, of course, because that is what is making the headlines. And I would like to invite you, Shalom, to set up this conversation for us. You are a former aspirant also in the NRM primaries, and I believe that you followed what happened in the CEC elections. Can you give us a brief overview of everything, of things that stood out for you during those elections, especially in regards to the Kadaga versus Anita among
Okay.
for the breakdown?
Good afternoon once again, our viewers. And in a very special way, allow me firstly to wish our host a very happy birthday. Happy birthday, Nancy, Ayot. So I'll dive into the question.
Are we entitled to sing happy birthday? It was just you saying
Happy
happy
birthday!
Happy birthday,
Is it
Nancy.
today?
Yes.
What about mine on
But
28th?
she decided to tell us about the birthday.
I
So
also came here on my birthday in
happening
July.
today?
it's
Open a
women
bit,
speaking.
open
We
a
are
bit.
excited
Yes,
about birthday.
celebrate
So
a fellow
happy
woman.
birthday,
Thank
Nancy.
you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so
Happy
much, ladies.
birthday,
I'm
dear.
honored. I'm honored.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And happy belated birthday, Honorable Miria.
Thank
What
you.
is it
Yours
with
was
birthdays
28th.
and this place? I came here on my
28th
birthday too, in July.
Yes,
Remember?
I remember.
That was 2 or 3 days ago. Honorable, I owe her a cake.
Okay. Now to get back to our
Okay,
conversation.
let me dive back to the question that you asked me. So, as someone who has previously participated in the recently concluded NRM primary elections, but also who has closely watched what has just happening of recent, I should say that our internal electoral systems have a serious problem. That women, that has kept some women back, and seeing the violence that happened, seeing the rigging, the bribery, seeing money moving in broad daylight. I saw people with money on live camera. I saw whatever happened, and I felt so disappointed as a young woman that aspires to be a leader. Well, I should say that everyone has a right to stand for any position they wish to stand for. And for Honorable Kadaga versus Anita, I'll say, for me, my personal view, honestly, is that Honorable Kadaga has been a member of parliament since the 1989.
And a member of CEC.
Member of CEC.
For a long time.
She actually said she was the incumbent. That's one of the reasons she gave for not allowing to step down. She said, I am the incumbent. So remember, they were asked to agree, and one person
Should step down.
step down. Yes, a decision they couldn't make. They both said, we are going for it. So I say that Honorable Kadaga has served this country remarkable. It's very remarkable. She has inspired us. She's been, I think, the second speaker, because there's one a queer.
No.
Yes.
Okwi was
Okwi
the
was the
first deputy
Deputy
speaker,
Speaker, yes.
and Kadaga is the first
Yes,
speaker,
thank
woman
you.
speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. So, being the very first speaker of the Parliament of Uganda is something we all admire of her, and as women, we've been so proud of her, and we followed her closely. We've been inspired by her journey. The fact that she comes from Eastern Uganda, one of the regions that everyone knows that
Women
are down there, you know. So it is something that we really admire. However, I feel like at a certain stage, we have to agree and be like, yes, I've served the people. I have done my best. I have inspired. I have done whatever I've done. I've served the nation. Let me go and rest. And maybe probably mentor more women to come on board. Yeah?
Yes.
That's my say. So there was this debate of, I have been in NRM since inception, and then the other has just come. So I think at a certain stage, personally, like anyone that is aspiring to be a leader, at a certain stage, I will have to go and rest and mentor other young women to come up. I admire Honorable Miria Matembe, because we look up to her now, and this is how that's supposed to be, because there are very many people that there is a vibrant group of young people, young women that want to serve, but there is no opportunity given. And then also that also causes a challenge, because some of these women keep looking for relevance. They want to be relevant. They want to fix themselves in this position, the other position. So literally, the upcoming women don't have where to fix themselves to be anywhere. So that obviously means that they don't even give space for mentorship for people like us who aspire to be leaders of the Uganda of today, because I don't want to say Uganda of tomorrow, because we are already leaders.
You're diving so deep into our future conversations, but
Yes.
thank you so much for that perspective. And I want to pick your brain, Charity. You know, as a seasoned election observer, and as a neutral party, I believe...
Without, have we closed on this Kadaga and the Anita?
No, we are continuing with that.
Okay.
We're continuing with that. As a seasoned election observer and as somebody who has watched this from the outside, what are your perspectives? What stood out for you?
Okay. So the NRM primaries, right from the start, when they first held the ones for members of parliament, those elections were marred with a lot of irregularities, or what we call electoral ills. And part of the things that started off in the primary, in the ordinary MP election, crept into the CEC election. I think as an observer, I was very, very disappointed on about 3 or 4 fronts. Number one, that key members of the NRM themselves came out to complain. Sanjay Tana wrote a statement and said, I'm stepping aside because I cannot participate in a process that is not transparent. You see, elections are governed by principles. Principles of transparency, principles of equity, principles of fairness, principles of freeness, principles of balance, and also the principle of credibility. For a process to be credible, there mustn't be money. A person as a voter should decide on their own without being given an incentive to skew their vote. So as an observer, it pains me to see elections degenerating every cycle of elections that we hold. So what were the major issues that NRM that came out through the statements? Mike Mukula had a statement, the Honorable Kadaga had a statement, Sanjay Tana, I've told you, had a statement, Caesar Mlenga had a statement. These are, Badiomonsi stood on the microphone and said it was a sham. So we saw all these statements.
Badiomonsi
Yes,
also?
Chris Badiomonsi. Yes.
You know I have been out
yes, he stood before the President Yoweri Museveni.
Praise the Lord, because now, if people can see what I see, surely they are coming to me. Oh, praise the Lord.
Oh, you didn't see, he stood on a microphone and told the president this election was a sham. So from my perspective as an observer, these key issues that you're going to see me highlight do make me feel sad that, you see, elections are not a game. Elections are supposed to produce for us people who are credible, people who are going to cause change for the ordinary citizen. Yes. Now, people of value, people of principle, people of integrity. And when I say these things, it's because we are a nation. We suffer every day here without medicine in hospital. We have education issues. We have pothole issues. We have economic issues. We have people standing up and telling you they are broke. You know why? It is a governance issue. And governance issues are being determined by the types of leaders that we are putting in positions of power. So it matters who you are electing and what you are electing them for. May money not skew Ugandans to always just give vote just because of money. So the key issues were, there was widespread malpractice, as I have said, and one of them was bribery. 2, forged accreditation cards. People forged accreditation cards to participate in the election, and the president had to intervene in about 2-3 elections. In fact, the youth election was cancelled. Yeah. Yes. The entrepreneurship election, he called the entrepreneurs, that is Basaja Balaba, King Caesar, and the other entrepreneurs who were standing in that election, and he said, let us agree, because now we are looking bad in the public. Why? They had said some of the delegates had been shipped to other countries and paid hefty allowances to just come and participate in that election. So there was the question of delegates without valid national IDs. Those ones were also eliminated. There were missing names from the register. Then there was a chairperson of the Electoral Commission who would count from 1 to 165. I count, I am number 1. And here Shalom is 165. So what happened to all the numbers between 1 and 165? So we saw these things happen. And when we see them happen, as an observer, I realize that we are moving from worst to worst to worstest. I always use that word worstest. I don't know whether there will be a point when we shall pull ourselves as a country and say, okay, what do we want? Okay, if we take away elections, then how are we going to change leaders? How does she come on board? Like she has told you, Shalom says, I want to lead. I feel it within me. How do we then? She says, you need to have money for you to make it. I have a girl I studied with in my law class. She was an RDC. She decided to leave her job as RDC and go to stand for political office. When she got there, she didn't have money because she was just coming out of class. She had been paying her school fees. The other opponent of hers had a lot of money. She only got 400 votes like this. Her opponent got 3,000 votes plus. And then she told me, in Uganda's election, RDC, I have told you, an insider, she said, in Uganda's election, to win it, you need money. Is that what we want our elections to be? The other issue that we saw there were that money was distributed at hotels, or some of them was distributed at the polling spot.
Yeah.
So with all the issues that I have raised, you can see that when Kadaga asked the head of the Electoral Commission of NRM, she asked on the microphone, so how are we voting? Are there going to be large screens that show everything as it is happening? Because we usually have screens where people will see what is happening. And are we voting by region or sub-region? The chairperson of the Electoral Commission first stammered and said, I should have been told earlier to give you a proper schedule of how we are voting and what is going. And the president said, wait a minute, sir. Tell us. Rebecca is raising a credible point. How are we voting? Is it by regions, sub-regions? Are there screens? Is there transparency? As chairperson, he was now backing her up. Remember now, he had failed to provide a proper procedure. Then he said, it's going to be by sub-regions. He said, how many people are there per sub-region? He wanted to know the detail. Now that tells you that already, even the candidates in the process did not know some of the things that were going to happen in the process. Every process, to be trusted by people that are participating, must be transparent for everyone, the participants and the candidates.
Well, I'll share, sorry for
No
Nancy,
problem.
I'm sorry for diving in.
1 minute.
Yes.
No problem.
As someone who participated in the NRM elections, that like I told you, there were situations where we turned up for an election and the people that have always voted, that have been in the registers for years, the elderly, even my own parents, we are not in the register. They were not in the register. So that obviously means they didn't vote for me. But when we were having a meeting at the district before the election, as we're preparing for the process, I asked, can you provide us
With
the
the
registers?
registers.
Give us information about how many people are in which sub-county, in how many people are in which, in a register of which village, so we can know where to put effort, but also that information is very important. They kept quiet. Then on the voting day,
Your people were not there.
wonders happened. My people, our supporters, my own parents, I think that's one thing they will never forget their entire life. That's one thing they will never forget. It broke their heart. My mom was so disappointed. You know, failing to vote your own daughter, and yet you've always voted. They have been in registers for years. Oh my God. So
Isn't that why such Kubo goes wild? and throw things.
And he
I was
says-
imagining if I was your mother, those elections would not have taken place.
You see?
I would have risen up and say, no way.
And of
I
course,
can't
you know-
be voting for you and you stop me from voting
And you
for
see
my
now,
Oh my God.
Honorable, an order had already been made that whoever is not in the yellow book is not able to vote. So obviously we had to
And
respect
for
You had
them,
to comply.
they are
policies
very
of the-
decent
of the-
people.
But there are
the
also many
security.
people who didn't comply
Yeah, so
with many of the orders.
The internal, what happens in the background, the internal electoral systems really
Okay.
are not fair.
Thank
for
you so much.
women.
Thank you.
And that's one
This
thing
is
we
serious.
ask. And forgive me, Nancy, I have to say this. I feel as a nation, in the 21st century, our methods of voting should be,
More sophisticated.
yes.
Secret
I mean,
ballot,
secret
not
ballots, why do you
not
have to line up? Why?
rudimentary lining up.
Yes, why? Do you know the fights that happen after elections? Even in in families, domestic violence,
Even during.
and it's worse for some communities. It is beyond what you expect. There's even poisoning. There's a lot of stuff that happens actually.
Even our full fig is now beaten nursing wounds because of that.
Presidential advisor.
Yes, yes.
It was because of election?
Yes.
Yes, so
Really?
Yeah.
She abused
No,
people, I
she was
think, during-
abusing someone.
Yes,
It-
during
Yeah,
that
during
Kadaga saga.
that campaign.
Oh, it was
Yes.
during the campaign.
Then she was beaten up later at the offices of NRM Electoral Commission.
It's going to get worse.
So what we really ask as people who are willing to actually take up leadership positions in this country, that want to serve the wananchi, that have the passion, that are so intentional about what we want really, we ask that the methods of election should be changed to ballots. Even for the NRM sake, why would you line up? Why don't you people...
And that was a small number. The SEC number is really small
Exactly.
and manageable. For the party primaries, the original ones, I was told, because I asked the same questions as an observer, I asked the Electoral Commission of NRM and I put it to them that this is a poor method of election. We have raised it from 2021. We raised it earlier. And they said we didn't have funds to run secret ballot in 72,000 villages. Well, fair enough. But here in Kololo, that was a smaller number. A secret ballot could have, you just put boxes. In secondary schools, they put boxes and they have thousands of students. So
Then we should say democracy is expensive.
All right. I call order to the House, ladies. Now, Honorable Miria.
Hey, you have jumped to this one. Okay.
No, I will bring her to the conversation. It's because you've been smiling, and I feel like we
She
need
has
to,
a burning point.
You have a burning.
No, I had thought I would listen to everybody and feel very good because they have, at last, they have seen what I've been seeing.
Let me ask you my question. Eh?
Mhm.
And my question is, considering what everyone has submitted and everything we've been talking about on this show, what is your analysis of Rebecca Kadaga's position that she has been loyal to the
You are
NRM
taking
party?
me to Kadaga.
Yes, that she has been loyal to the NRM party. But also, what does it say about the NRM party in itself? That throughout the years, Honorable Kadaga became Speaker, then she became first Deputy Prime Minister. That's right.
Yeah.
And right now, it appears that that position within the SEC is extremely important. What power does that position within that she and Anita contested with? What is the power of
Well,
that
for
position?
me, don't ask me the power of that position because for me, the time when I was a member of parliament, even the speaker herself or himself was like as ordinary as we were. As ordinary as we were. And if I can also tell you that the process which you are saying is no good, so bad and so on, was the process through which I entered parliament for the first time. I entered parliament for the first time by people lining behind me. the position when we were in parliament, the speaker was as ordinary as we are. President of this country was as normal and a human being as any other. What do I want to say here? I want to tell you that the environment in this country, the political environment in this country, which is characterized by moral degeneration, high levels of moral degeneration, high ethical values, breakdown of ethical values, and people gripped by greed. These high levels of moral degeneration are characterized by greed, greed for power, greed for wealth, greed for anything. That is the environment in which we are operating. That is the environment. And the good thing is that I have always prophesied here. Recently I found I'm a prophet. Because look, I come and talk and young ladies like these come and confirm. Now when I heard that Bariomuns finally has seen what I've been seeing and is saying it loud, I say, God, down the road, my things will come fine. God may turn these things around. But having said that, me with Kadaga and Anita, I want, yes, we hold Honorable Kadaga in high esteem. In fact, for you, you see her as just as a speaker. But I entered into politics with Kadaga. I remained there as an ordinary person, ordinary completely, doing all the work. I served this nation. But I remained the ordinary member of parliament. Up to the end, living for 4 years, when finally the president remembered me and thought I could also be a ministerial person. But one thing I love about that is that he had studied me and had known that if I'm to choose a minister, the first minister for ethics and integrity, it must be Miria Matembe. That's one thing I cherished. In fact, when he threw me out, I wrote to thank him for finally seeing that I could be a ministerial material. I tell you, the ministerial material were so many down there. When I had served 20, I served 20 years, but it is at 16 that I got that small position. I established the ministry, and when I stood for my integrity, he threw me into the dustbin. But I fell into God's grace. I fall into God's grace, and still I am here. I am here serving the purpose for which I went to politics. That is to fight for justice, fight against discrimination, for justice and fairness in this land. Whether I'm thrown in the dustbin, I am still in God's grace and I'm still working, serving my purpose. Now, why did I bring that? Is that certainly we honor Kadaga, because for her, ever since she was elected, she started off with positions. She started off with high positions. She was a minister, they used to call them deputy minister, all the levels, deputy minister. At one time, she was assistant speaker because she was assistant NRC chairman, Chigongo. So she kept rising to full minister and then to deputy speaker for 10 years and then a full speaker 10 years. So she has served this country in very elegant, respectful position all her life. And I can say with certainty that come to fight for gender equality and women's empowerment, she has excelled. Because even the things were passing through parliament, if she was not standing there for them, they would not go through. So she's highly honored and respected in this country, as you are saying. And because Museveni gave her an opportunity, And moreover, when Kadaga went to NRM, I was NRM because I was UPM. When Kadaga, I think, was DP. When Kazwe was DP, she gave them high positions, vice president and everything. I'm not saying it to be jealous.
How did you feel?
But I want to tell the public, I had a purpose. I had a purpose for which I was running. If there is any woman that was treated very poor and lowly by Museveni's government, it is Museveni himself. It is me. And he knows I was at the forefront. But I never cared. I cannot be Kadaga. I cannot be Kazu. I can only be Matembe. And so I can't compete. I never compete with women, whether you give me or not. So it is true that Honorable Kadaga, you know, the Banyankore were wholesale for Museveni, and therefore we didn't matter. While the Eastern and the Northern, you had to win them over by giving them these jobs. For us, whether you gave us or not, we worked. Did you read Animal Farm? Boxer. Miria Matembe was the real boxer of NRM government until she was thrown into the garbage. So, Kadaga has served eloquently, diligently, and has reached there. Now you are saying, according to you, she should have rested. I agree with you. She could have arrested. And these are gender issues. Why don't you tell your President Museveni to rest? This is now the gender question. And I admire Kadaga for her resilience. In fact, in her resilience, she was telling President Museveni, when are you leaving? Why should I leave? We all came together here. She was telling him, when are you leaving? I also must stay. And I love that. Resilience. That was a message. That was a message. Why should women go? And the men stay? And why should always President Museveni come and oppose it? Why should you are young people? We are leaders, we are telling you. If you think I'm your role model, such issues should come in your mind. Because if you don't go with those issues in your mind, you're also going to sit there and achieve nothing for us. Otherwise, you should be, when you compare Kadaga, why should Kadaga go? And she told them, you mistreated me when you were changing the speaker. Why is it that the speaker must change and Kadaga must go when the president never goes? So she was delivering that message in her wisdom. That's why she resilience, and stayed up to the end. Me, I want to say thank you, my dear sister. You resisted. We talk of resistance, isn't it? National resistance movement. Yes. Thank you for resisting up to the end and for remaining resilient. She's better than me in terms of resilience and resistance. Because for me, you saw, I left. And up to now, I said goodbye. I'm still serving my purpose. But for her, maybe she had not yet realized her purpose. And so she continues. Next time, tell your man, big man, that enough is enough and she should stop there. As on elections, I have always told everybody listening to me that for me, elections in Uganda are meaningless. They are meaningless. They are wasting our resources. You can imagine, I've been wondering. And they are leading this country into total abject poverty. Leave alone this Kasaja minister who says, Hugh, where? You imagine all this money which is invested into just primaries. Where did it come from? And when you see a revenue authority, the way they strangle our necks, and I used to have my house, which I was renting, a small house like this, I was depending on it. Now I can't raise rent because they take it all, city council to revenue authority, and in the end it is the one getting these people into power. Now they are meaningless. They cause us poor. They cause violence in this country. They are really meaningless. And I heard Charles saying, for what she's illegal, she's what? Forget it. And I want to repeat it here. As long as President Museveni is still the president of this country, You, in the physical, we cannot do anything to change things in this country. It will need the Holy Spirit to be imparted on him, maybe, and the people who follow him to turn things around. But that's why I still believe in my God. He will work. Don't you see? He's now showing the Bariomonsis who were blind, now they are beginning to see. I think I can stop there for now.
Thank you, Honorable Miria. Nana?
You said you had a reason for skipping me.
I did.
Which one was it?
I did very
Because
much.
now she said everything I needed to say. Anyway,
No,
I am
just-
surprised at
Can I first ask you, because I have not yet posed the question yet. Yes, so I wanted to talk about the fasts that we are always celebrating. For example, the first principal, female principal judge. We celebrated Rebecca Kadaga, first female speaker, and
First
you know,
Vice President.
yes, all those fasts
First
for women.
Chief Justice.
Oh.
Yes, first Deputy Chief Justice, the late Joyce
Letitia.
Chikonyogo,
Yes.
Letitia.
Yes, so we've celebrated all these many fasts. However, as a person who is in a political party during this season, watching the showdown, I would like to call it the showdown because everything is just going astray here and there. What do you believe is the position of women in political parties at this point, considering everything that is going on, not just in the NRM, but in other different political parties? Do women actually stand a chance, or they're just tokens put in to represent, you know, the different positions that are given to them? And in the same point, you can also give us your opinion on what you think on what you think about the CEC elections.
the SEC elections. That's where, let me just start there to say briefly, because I mean everything has been said, what's there to really add. What surprises me is that my sisters seem very surprised and alarmed at, you know, whatever we've seen with the NRM primaries. These are patterns. This is like a ritual now. When haven't we had election violence, especially to do with NRM, whether it's their internal process or the main election against other political parties? So for me, I don't see why my sisters should be very, very surprised. I don't see why this should alarm anybody that you turn up to vote and her mother and father's name is missing from the register. This is NRM. This is their legacy. This is the legacy of Museveni. Violence in elections, irregularities. Then he comes out to pretend to condemn it. He even puts, what is it, a commission? A tribunal to investigate? Investigate what? He's okaying it, broad daylight. When he sat with the Honorable Kadaga and my sister Nalongo, Anita, when they were sitting there where, you know, they laid bare their internal road to the nation, you can see a man that's out to continue using women against themselves. He lies to you that you have a bit of power. He lies to you, you know, his power is not power. He hasn't given you any power to be Speaker of Parliament at all. He's just, you know, placing you in a position where other women will even think you have any power at all to influence anything. They come chasing after you. But he has the remote control. So, to do with party primaries of NRM, this is a habit, the result manipulation, carrying sacks of money to Kololo. This should not surprise anybody that's been part of the NRM. My sister here, Shalom, I don't know if this was the first time you were learning about money taking bigger roles in elections of NRM. It is to some of us that have watched it from a distance, the bribery, the illegal voting, intimidating participants. In the end, for me, I think that this is a recipe for more widespread violence. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the coming few months.
It is
The months between
foreseeable.
now and January, what we can foresee, if there is no table arranged for seniors like her to come and speak about this. As a woman who's aspiring to, come as MP, Kampala district, the few times I have engaged with the people, Ugandans have lost trust in this thing called elections. If you should ask me, most of the people getting into these elections are getting in there to find a job, to fill a gap because of the deepening poverty, the decaying morals. People are participating here to find a path to, to take money, taxpayer money, in form of salary. Very few people or none are in this to change anything. Because we know, yesterday I was in Kisenyi downtown, in those very unbelievably dangerous structures, some of them burnt up last week. So I was there to see the women, the children. People are asking questions like, what exactly do you think you're going to change about this? For as long as that man is still there, a man who will decide a month to the elections, there will be members blocking this road, that road, cameras mounted over people's opposition houses to see. It is a mess that is unnecessary. The election, even though I'm coming out as a participant, I am doing it as a symbol of defiance. If you all say we must continue to do this useless ritual, it's a useless ritual to Ugandans. We are not changing power. We are not going to deliver services to people. We are getting in there to master the art of stealing from the poor public. I was in Kisenyi. Structures, there is no housing, there is no planning for the people. They are burning down, and immediately they are asking you for 100,000 to help them mount other structures with karatusi trees and beat vivat and sleep there with children. In the heart of a capital city where a government of 40 years still seeks to be re-elected. So it is painful. It is shaming. If we do not sit, if we had any well-meaning people left for this country that dare to really reassert themselves, we would cancel this coming election, save that money for Ugandans, put little public schools, and talk a way out of this mess. Because now, the daughter to NRM, we are all daughters of this system. We are crying that our parents can't even be allowed to vote us. Can you imagine that? But then we are going, those who have won the primaries are gearing up, they are putting money in the constituencies. The poor nana who comes with the mind of thinking, look, I can lead, I can make something tiny better for the woman, I can better something for abused women, sexual violence all over with Museveni's ministers. I'm thinking I can do that. I am lying to myself and I'm lying to the public. Like any other politicians now picking those forms, majority are in it to find a job and some money. And it is very embarrassing.
You know, just one thing.
1 minute on
One thing which she has provoked my brain is that when she says that people are fed up and tired, can you imagine the fact that so far 220 plus people have picked forms to contest for presidency?
Exactly.
Means how presidency has become
Meaningless. So the Ugandans would rather play drama with it.
Meaningless, because how it is no longer the revered position, the honorable position of honor, where people could do. First it became ministers when President Museveni appointed fishermen and women. And so that ministerial people became nothing and meaningless and so on. And the member of parliament also, it became meaningless. Now at the end, it has reached him. In fact, I was saying, because yeah, he's been demeaning other positions. He started and demeaned any other position, leadership, thinking
But as
only
long as they
presidency
can wake up
is
and
the
shout.
only leadership that matters. Now things have reached there. I've forgotten our Chinyankwere proverbs which we say, but mu Luganda bagamba kyosimba kyokora ki?
Kyokungula.
Kyosimba
Kyosiga.
Kyosiga.
kyosiga
Simba.
kyosiga kyokungura ekyorukuba nikyorukusharura yabiba the meaning of other position and making us sure they don't matter because he wanted to be the only one that matter. Now also 220, and I'm glad there are so many women. The other day I saw a young girl, she was being interviewed, 22 years, she was chewing her chewing gum as she's on the on the camera, and she said, they said, why are you contesting? Said, I'm tired of criticizing, complaining, criticizing. Let me now also go there and see what I can change. Action. Complaining without action doesn't work. So you can see. That's
So
the
for me,
situation.
in closing on that part,
And honorable, in English, it is you reap what you sow.
What you
It
saw.
is my school motto at Nakiiza Girls
that's
School.
what
You
has
reap
happened.
what you sow.
Thank
You
you.
demean
so for
every
me to close
position.
on that particular one, violence in the NRM when it comes to election, it has been a recurring issue. It's now boiling down to a real recipe for violence all over the country, because as we see in some regions, some districts, like Sembabuli, there was a Sinjiro, the elections were, is it
I
cancelled or
don't know
called
whether I
off?
also heard about Ntungamo
People
district,
died.
the first district.
No, lives were lost. People are nursing wounds. So now just imagine the main thing in January. So for me, I am saying that this is only going to deepen, you know, and then it will suppress political participation the more. The people who have anything to lose when it comes to these months, they are going to pack their children and leave this country and leave us in the chaos. So participation is going to reduce. No, you know, any people that have any dignity left do not want to participate in this mess.
In voting.
Look in voting, in offering themselves for embarrassment. Look at Mama Kadaga.
Especially women.
Especially women. She called it resilience on the part of Madame Kadaga. But look at how her boss embarrassed her. She is busy crying and wanting to justify her insistence on keeping, I should call it maybe entitlement. For me, it came off as entitlement. Look, if you defended so and so for their position, sir, you must also defend me. And he's saying, no, I owe you nothing. Busoga doesn't belong to you. It was drama. Mama Miria, you need to
I'm
see
glad
this.
I missed all that.
On that note, I want us to
Is it
talk
on
about that.
YouTube?
It is everywhere.
I want
They sat in the same hall. Anita is there, Kadaga is there, Museveni is there. As Kadaga cried to Museveni, please also protect me and I keep my place. You say I've been loyal, I'm an old woman, 89. Anita stood and said,
Not 89,
I am
69
young.
perhaps.
No, she said that she started serving
69.
in 1989. Kadaga stood with her energetic 40s woman energy. And she said, Anita, even if I am young, 3 years, you should know I come with young energy. They acted like co-wives in front of their husband or king to choose who was the best. It was very embarrassing.
There is a statement Kadaga made that how long will you frustrate an individual?
Joe, you are
asking
pushing
President
me.
Museveni.
You have pushed me on the wall. Museveni told her, on air, no one is chasing you, by the way, Rebecca. It is wrong. You don't even own Busoga. I am the one, in fact, who should own Busoga because I returned Chabazinga. You know, he said a lot
Do
of
you know, sorry, but do you know what this means? Me, I'm so happy to see what is happening because yes,
the country is happy.
because I have talked and talked. Why do you hand over Uganda to one person? Why should everybody look to this man as the only giver and provider of anything? I'm so glad that people I told people, these people long ago, they are coming to see it. And for me, that's why I say I'm happy that they are seeing what I saw long ago. Praise the Lord that you are opening
My senior
people's
sister,
eyes.
you are not the only happy one. The country is happy. The country has young people now that have come out to just mock that
there was
position
that
of presidency.
conversation.
There is this man from Wande again,
alone.
the husband of Nakato, who is now playing pure drama
He's
over the
Nakato.
same position. He called himself husband of Nakato. So this, we have the behavior of NRM
The late
that is
Peterson.
not new. The late Peterson. You need to catch up, my sister. This NRM behavior
I'm risking.
is only going to risk further and further the chance of unity of Ugandans. They continue to tear us apart. You look at Deputy Speaker Tayebwa wondering about how many billions that were poured into Kololo. So the persistence of all of this, we have ourselves to blame. All the learned people of this country, the lawyers, the professors, the doctors, sitting and letting one man take all power
Uganda.
from everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nana.
But can I say something?
When will
now?
In
she
a minute,
speak?
please.
Yes, I know she's coming on, but I don't want us to lose this trend of thought. Nana is standing in an election, but she has just discounted elections. She has just said they are a hopeless process.
We are there to
but
defy
she's standing
and
in an
shame
election in
Museveni.
Kampala.
You are provoking me to respond.
Please do.
Because
Please
you
do.
know this man, is it Martin Luther
King.
King.
Jr.?
Yes.
The one who said, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk,
Swim like a
roll. At least continue moving.
Exactly.
Don't give up.
Yes.
So do not think that I am unintentionally displaying myself as
but you have
contradictory.
also said-
No, wait.
Nana,
Ladies,
you
can
also mentioned...
One minute.
Can we please?
Do not think that I come off as though to contradict myself unintentionally. Earlier on, I used the word defiance. If you're going to refuse that we must have elections which we all think are sham, they are only going to cost lives and money for Ugandans, then let's get it in there
there
and
and
disrupt
defy.
them. Let the drama people come in, let the 21-year-old come and disrupt everything. So we give the world the shame that we have reached. I am not contradicting myself by mistake. I am in there to defy it. I am in there to challenge every able mind that has allowed Museveni to do these things. As we come out to protest, we are called chaotic. We are called disorderly. We are now, as a country, in a very disorderly place, and let
Therefore, it is the
disorderliness
right
work.
place for you.
Yes.
Disorderly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please, let's allow our sister Winnie to speak. And Winnie, we are still on the same topic.
Yes.
However, this is where I'm going to play devil's advocate. On the women's show, we don't just lift up women, but we also hold them accountable. So this is where I am going to ask you. Persons like Honorable Rebecca Kadaga have been a part of the NRM system ever since. And right now she is facing a difficult situation, which nobody ideally should face. However, many people, especially online, on media platforms, blogs and all that, say she built this system. She contributed to the building of this system. And one of the major things they cite is that she stood strongly for the removal of age limit and term limit.
It hurt me.
She
so
laid the
badly.
bed, let her lie in it.
She laid foundation for this. What are your thoughts on that? Do you believe
She
that?
has earned
Do you believe that that is an argument that stands, or is this a different type of thing? Well, what are your thoughts?
Oh, thank you so much, our moderator and my fellow panelists. My name once again is Twinomugisha Winnie. I am former woman MP aspirant in Ntungamo district in 2020 NRM primaries. I come from the first district where First Lady is born from and where President is born from. So you know what it means. But currently, I left NRM because of such things. Now I'm PFF. First and foremost, I would wish to begin with the Kororo event, previous event, where we saw NRM fighting, tearing NRM shirts and T-shirts, punching old women. It was a horror movie. That's how I may term it. With NRM, anything can happen. Because it is in its last touches. That's how I may call it. Because last time I saw Mama Janet in our district, but the way how I looked at her, do you know, when she's entering in the car, someone is putting the hand back so that she does not fall down. And this is the first lady and her husband in the state house.
That is resilience.
Yes.
And persistence.
You see, I come from that very district, boarding enough to come here and I say such.
You
It
better,
takes
you know
someone to
Jesus?
heart. Yes.
Okay.
So I know when I go back there what happens.
Jesus.
But I'm bold enough to fight so that we bring back Uganda to the hands of Ugandans. When I looked at President's current slogan, protect the gains, it really proves what they are doing, what they have been doing, and what they are doing, and what they intend to do.
And what gains they are protecting.
The gains they are protecting are the things they are rooting from Ugandans. They are the things they steal from us. For example, I'm a victim of human trafficking. And I was trafficked by a member of parliament representing Ruhama East County. That's Honorable Benjamin Kamkama. He stole from me 8 million. But since I came back, I have tried to look for justice. But now the law proves us that the law favors the rich and underrates the poor. When shall we remain in this chaos? We must come up. We know voting in Uganda has become now a comedy store. We don't trust even the EC. We vote for this one and tomorrow they announce the person who didn't win. And it has been even happening, you know. Kano Besje won like 2 times and he wasn't declared a winner. He instead declared himself. So this is the movie I'm telling you about. Another challenge we are facing is where President empowers women, but he does not leave them to act. They work under his influence. For instance, our sister Abodo, I was in her office, in DPP's office, with these issues. Honorable Miria Matembe, I thank God to have met you, because you have been my role model. You cannot find women who are outspoken coming from Ntungamo, but I thank God, I think I am one in the million.
Oh, praise the Lord. You don't fear.
Yes.
Fearless.
And actually, I'm harassed badly in Ntungamo when I'm there. Like, I'm always alone. I walk alone because I've taken this side of speaking up. And
If you belong to
You'll be
Jesus,
isolated.
he will stand by your side.
Yes.
We want to leave
So I went to Abodo's office, that is DPP's office. My file reached there, I thank God. There is a council who was assigned to me called the Chomhendo Joseph. But when I reached there, they gave me confidence that I'm in the right hands, whereby this honorable is not above the law. He's going even to be handled in international criminal court, and you know, with human trafficking, that is a criminal case. With even facilitating me with the transport, going to Ntungamo, coming this way, but my dear, it ended in tears.
What happened?
It ended in premium tears, whereby I was on a WhatsApp group and I saw this honorable choosing, writing something that Abodo saw that I'm mentally disturbed. Just look at a lady in me that I'm mentally disturbed.
when you speak for the truth, in my activism, many agree she's crazy.
They just branded me that I'm mad. You people, do I look mad? So, to cut that story short, this Chomuhendo Joseph, when I saw that whatever message on WhatsApp put by Honorable Benjamin Kamkama that I was seen as a mad person, and they decided to close the file. I had trained to Kampala, from Ntungamo to Kampala. I reached to Chomuhendo, and I was like, what is up? Could you please update me about my file? This man looked at me and said, your file was perused by 3 people, and we exonerated Honorable Benjamin and the wife. So I was like, on what grounds? I have evidence, you imaged my phone, and you know what my file went through, and how do you come to exonerate them? Can I have a copy of that letter? Can I have a response from the DPPs, or from the DPP herself on the letter I wrote to her? He was like, no, we cannot write to you. With the humiliation, I was like, am I not a Ugandan? Don't I deserve to be replied to? Because I complained. And how comes that the accused person accesses the file than the complainant? You see the rotten system where women are empowered. So you rather not empower me in such system. That's how I may say. Why would you empower me in that office? And again you come back and say, I want you to work like this. Why?
Can I, if I can come in on that one? Because we shall say women, you know, when you talk like that,
yes,
it seems that women should not be empowered because they are not doing the right things. But I started by saying the system in which we work. We are here to discuss women. But the same thing applies to men. Because what I seen between, even if you relate it to Honorable Kadaga, you remember at one time when Honorable Kadaga raised up to fight for Napa, the other woman who was killed, who died in Nebanda. And Kadaga rose with her energy to fight for the woman, and she said the parliament will come, you will sit. That's where also Baryomunsi was. Baryomunsi was supposed to defend the other woman, and I'm telling you what in the end happened. President Museveni went to Rwachitura and said, I will see if this parliament is called. And then I remember the late Aronda, God rest his soul in peace, he said, if you, Kadaga, if the speaker calls the parliament, where the army will rise up. You need to remember these things. The army will rise up. And in the process, the leaders of Busoga, with their bishop, they came and took Kadaga to Rwachitura and said, you ask for apology to the president. Do you see the environment in which they're working?
Yes.
Said, ask for apology. And with Baryomunsi and Vitekerezo, who were demanding that the blood simani be tested, the woman is whatever be taken to South Africa. They stayed in prison in Chira, I don't know for how many nights. And by the time they came up, that was the beginning of Baryomunsi saying, hands up. And that was Bitekerezo, and so by the time Kadaga now allowed the president, I mean the invasion of the parliament and the removal of the age limit, she had already been taken to Rwachitura by the Busoga leadership and the bishop to bow down. So when you are blaming, don't blame women for their failures. Blame the system, because also the men and the women who are working there are swallowed. And as for this DPP lady, me, I'm so glad that I've been craving for a principal judge at least to be a woman. And I've been crying out for a time when the chief judge, the chief justice would also be a woman. Because we are as brilliant, we are as wise as these other people who take the position. What I want to say is we need to know that, for instance, this point you are talking about, in fact, I wanted to ask you, did you ever have the opportunity to see the DPP herself? Because one thing I can tell you, I have had cases, files thrown out and so on, and people run to me. And I go to DPP personally. And then the files are called. And then she assigns people and say, deal with this file herself. And when she herself deals with the file and hands it to somebody, then they are so careful that they are not going to be bribed by these people. But if you don't get access, because me, the times I've got access to her running with cases which come to me, she gives them to the people, and in the end they handle, and I even go there and say, give me the answers and all that kind of thing. So I want to say that being DPP does not mean that you are the one who has seen the case. There are these other people who see the case and they are both and so on. And if there is no appeal specifically to the DPP to even see her, things may get lost like that. So I want to say that while you are criticizing these women, know that the system is the one which is undermining them. For instance, when I saw Abodo, what judgment was made for stealing of the stealing of Mabati? I said, poor girl, I wish she had not got this job. Because what could she say? Museveni says, my Nabanja, my ministers, my whatever. Then for you, who are you? If you are not like Matembe, who doesn't care whether she has a job or not. You can't defy that, because you want the job, you want to stay there, unless you are driven by a purpose, and unless you stand in God's shoe, standing on God. But I knew Abodo is a Mrokore, but things can really defeat you in a system as much as they defeat the men, and they also mess up.
Thank you, Honorable. And you know, that was the next question I was going to ask, but since you've already answered it.
About the question you asked me, Honorable Matembe, when I requested this lawyer assigned to me about meeting the DPP herself, he told me that you cannot meet her.
Of course. Because if you met her, things would have changed.
Yes, that's what he told me. What I meant, I rather not work in this rotten system that you, in the name of empowering women.
But now you are contesting.
I am contesting
in the rotten system.
No, on PFF, because we want to show them the resilience.
The overhaul.
Yes.
When she finished speaking, I also had wanted to request to interject. Shouldn't that be the point? If you are saying she's powerless in a powerful position, shouldn't be that the position, the turning point, to cause a turning point to say, I can't do this, just like you seem to suggest you did. When he threw you out in the basket, you didn't try to resist and beg like Kadaga, please protect me.
We are made differently for a specific purpose.
Actually, that's why I call you my role model.
Come on, we defy.
That's why I call you my role model, because you will find few ladies who will come on opposition in Ntungamo. You know what Ntungamo means? Actually, you people, I want to say this. Ntungamo district is under captivity, whereby when you look at its current position, it is in a solid state. We don't have schools, and this is where first aid comes from. Illiteracy is at high level, and that is the first district. When you reach there and you see the life people are living in, you will just cry.
But why don't you tell them to visit Chirhura and see how Chirhura is?
It's because just for us there.
Maybe in Ntungamo you keep saying that's where she comes from. That's where they come from. They don't come from there. They come from Chirhura. That's where they develop, not in Ntungamo.
And that's why I'm telling you that for us we are under captivity, to the extent that when time for voting presidential candidates reaches, you find that 10 a.m. voting process is done.
I know that.
And if anyone happens to take any opposition candidate, they will take that vote as an invalid one. So that's why I'm telling you that we are under captivity as Ntungamoyans. And I thank God that I saw I saw the light, and I've come out, and I will boldly say it. Ntungamo, wake up, please. Because when you call yourself that we come from where President comes and First Lady, you will just remain with just that title, but meaningless. Abanyankore nibagira ngo tukasigaze cyapa, tukasigaze izina nke cyapa. So I thank God that I will carry this role to sensitize the people from within that district so that they can see the light I have seen already. Another thing, when something has not yet reached on you, you will never know what is behind. But when this thing of trafficking happened to me, and I tried to look for the rescue and justice.
What happened? How did they traffic you? It's a long story.
It's a long story.
Next time we shall hear
Get
the
into
story.
it after the show.
Yes.
Next
So
time we
when
shall
it
get the
happened to
story.
me, and I reflected on Colonel Besge's words, I really saw it in reality. I really saw how NRM can frustrate an individual, as Kadaga said. It has frustrated me enough, and the others who are also frustrated. Even now, Chris Bariomus is also frustrated.
I love that.
We are happy. For us, we
So
are happy.
when it hasn't reached to you, you will be in your comfort zone, and when Winnie comes out and speak up, you will just call her a mad person. Yet this person in reality is fighting for even you. So I really want to call upon...
I'm glad I'm moving forward.
I really want to call upon young ladies, young men, please let us fight for Ugandans, because Uganda is really rotting. And it has started from the head, from the fountain of honor, when he dictates that no one should contest against him. You NRM girl, what does it show? Why does he make people fight? Lining behind, and for him he's a sole candidate. If he says that it has no problem, it has no any effect, why can't he also allow others to contest against him? So he should stop this thing of okutugabanyamu, I don't know how we call it. Divide and rule. Really,
that's
this
the
is
central
enough,
part.
and I would really appeal to everyone. We are still in this government, though it's rotten, but if really he can allow these women he put in different offices to serve without this whatever invisible hand, really women would be thankful. Because we knew that women were for kitchen, and he really brought us on the table. They have occupied big offices, but being there should be given authority to work as they are appointed. But when again you come back and say, no, don't touch so and so, the other one is untouchable, what's that? That is fooling Ugandans. So this is the time we should wake up and we fight for what belongs to us.
Well, what I should say in addition to what you just said, we will not ignore the fact that the NRM has empowered women in terms of placing them in positions and provisions of the 1995 Constitution through affirmative action, representation of women from every district, and it's going down up to even you see women councillors. You even see now in the CEC at least there are 2 positions for women. Currently,
CEC only 2 out of how many people?
Well, yeah, we have to acknowledge the effort.
Out of 10.
Yes.
Out of 10.
Out of 10 years, we have to appreciate the effort, and then also I should say it's down. It goes up to the local level. Even in Parliament currently, we have 189 parliamentarians who are women out of 552, I should say. Yeah, not a good number that we could be proud of as women, but also we should say that, yeah, remarkable, because previously it was a different story. Yeah, what we ask as women is to actually be able to impact through the position.
see,
You
one
can't
thing-
impact because you
one
have no
thing
power.
you need
Can I
to
find-
know.
ladies,
No,
ladies,
one
please,
thing she
ladies, I
needs
ask
to
you,
know.
Please,
Let me
please,
finalize.
please.
You are finishing. Okay, we
Please,
shall
we are
tell at the
finishing.
end.
Please.
So, what I should say is that we have to appreciate. Now, for justice, for Honorable Justice Justin Abodo, she hails from Karamoja, one of the regions that we all know are disadvantaged, they are poor people, and yeah, she's made it through the ranks to the very first principal judge in Uganda. That's very remarkable. So the question still remains that will she be able to actually execute her roles alongside the different disadvantages that we are talking about? You are about to to swallow me up, but I do acknowledge. I do acknowledge. So I do acknowledge, even if you don't attack me. So that's the question. However, I emphasize that there has been effort to bring us on table.
On table.
I don't
indeed.
know where.
On
No,
table.
no, ladies, please,
Yes.
please. Let's not get
and you're eating
Are you
my
going to
time.
allow us to
No,
comment?
please. I am going to give you time to
this was
comment.
my
I am
time.
going to give you
Everyone
time
has
to
their
comment.
Table. Museveni
I'm
found
still in
our
my
parents and their parents empowered.
Ladies, I
Instead,
beg you.
he
Protect me, this
disempowered
was
them.
my
Please,
time.
please, I beg
that's
you.
not
Finish,
right.
finish. Wrap up. Shalom, wrap up your point, and then
And
she
I
can wrap up.
conclude.
Yes.
And we
So
close.
for me, what still remains is of course, the disadvantages that place women in vulnerable positions, the violence, the money in politics, and the different impunities that happen that hold some women, given our state as women. We also see that in Uganda, in the different parties, political parties, we do not have presidential candidates that are standing for, let's say, women member of parliament. The different women we have seen come as independent. Yeah. So there is also a gap in that area, and we look forward to that day when we'll have a president who is a woman in Uganda. And the time is coming because, we see it. We see it.
You're wrapping up. You're
we
wrapping
see
up.
the generation rising
You're
up.
wrapping up.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes.
Uh,
You're wrapping up as well.
Yes, yes. I wanted to thank Prime Minister Robin Anabanja, because in this saga, as a woman in the office, she really helped me. Because CID department in Chiburi wanted to confiscate my phone because it's the phone with evidence, so that they called the case off. But I approached her after it had spent there 3 months when they were bargaining to pay it off. When I approached her, this is the lady who called the CID boss, CID director, and conferenced us. And from conferencing us, she gave them the order that they should give me back my phone within 2 days, and they did it. But with other things to help me in following up, she said, no, you see. So now, why no? Huh? She's in position where she can do something, but because there is that hand we don't see that stops her from doing other things. Again, I also thank the lady from UAE, from Consulate of Uganda. She's the one who helped me even to exit Dubai because they had absconded me. But she helped me going through that process, and I came back to Uganda. Again, reaching in Uganda, I hoped...
Please wrap up. Wrap up.
Yes, I'm almost finishing. I hoped really to feel at home, but again, it was another story. Then again, I also thank Kadaga. She has stood as a woman, and she has helped us to expose the nudity of NRIM we are in now. Really, I think, time, I think.
Yes.
Okay. So I thank every woman in the position they are, but we need to come out. We say enough is enough.
Miss Nancy,
Thank
may I
you
get
so-
a few
ladies,
minutes?
Ladies, I beg you.
I
Let
had
me say
something to say about
Let me say
Abodo,
something. Let me say
please.
something. let me say something. Let us agree that the contributions that we made, for example, we know that there are structures that prevent ladies from rising up, right? That prevent them from carrying out their roles. However, we also hold them accountable for the things that they have done, despite all that. And we are also saying that is there something new that you want to add? Is there something new?
Something
Is like other than what we've already said? Is there something new?
You no.
I would
What
like
you
to say
said,
something
I didn't get a
about-
chance to say anything about this advancement of our fellow woman Abodo.
1
Museveni
minute.
has excited us with pseudo power, empty power, and then you'll find women celebrating this. On the cosmetic, side of things, it's a landmark that she should become the first woman in that position. It is for Karamoja, for a girl who sat under the tree in Moroto for classes, it is on the cosmetic side of things, it's something to clap about. But this woman has thrown out cases. She was talking the same thing. She threw out my case of sexual violence reported of a serving minister, a minister for affairs of children in this country, has a case before Abodo. In an office that Abodo will leave to a higher office, there is a case against a serving minister, sexual violence. When it comes to serving, will she be able to manage a judiciary that is marred with corruption, a judiciary that can't decide and allocate cases? People like Vesija are rotting in prison over nothing. It is empty power. Women like us that are defiant, in PFF, for example, or in the activism I've done for years, we are not going to clap and celebrate empty power by women. Women will have to defy the odds, refuse these positions, instead of blackmailing us as women that we are empowered. Museveni has brought us on the table. Which table?
Let me talk.
Okay.
These young people don't know what it means, what leadership means. And they continue talking about NRIM. I want this, this lady, the name? Shalom was trying to say what I have always said and even written about. Have you ever read my book?
I want to read.
The Struggle for Freedom and Democracy Betrayed. By the way, the other one never
She
brought to
has
my mind.
3.
The Struggle for Freedom and Democracy Betrayed. The singing I make of President Museveni. By the way, I don't think there are many people who genuinely, because they really participated and they worked with President Museveni during that wonderful, conducive environment where women really did what took them there. So singing him now, you read my book, we know nobody cannot thank NRIM but the first NRIM. There's a difference between NRIM Museveni 1 and Museveni 2. The NRIM Museveni 1, the National Resistance Movement, where I worked, I've never worked in the National Resistance Movement party. By the time the party was formed, the environment had changed. You people, you see yourself on the front and that kind of thing, it's because of what we did during that conducive political environment and the political will on the part of the president and government to advance the women's cause. Okay? You need to know that. Before you go to judge these poor women who are struggling to remain there to make a difference. Because if we could record some people who can really praise Abodo, say this is great, this is great. Because I do not think that 2 cases or 3. And in any case, I've already explained that Abodo is DPP. DPP is the final. But there are those people who follow the case, who investigate the case, and they come and report that they have done all this, and it is okay. But when somebody appears and gets access to that, I know things work. So please don't demean these women who are there. One thing I want to say, yes, for us, we were at the table. You know, when you're at the table, you are sitting at the table and the menu is on the table. But since the National Resistance Movement Party came, things changed. Women are there on the table, not at the table. I don't know whether we understand my philosophy.
They are on the table.
They are on the table like a menu, not at the table. The menu does not decide what to eat or what. It is these people who are at the table. So they have power. That is point number one. They are on the table, not at the table. They are in power without power. Without power to influence the governance agenda. But as for having power as individuals, who has power more than Nebanje except Museveni? Is he
Nabanji.
The Prime Minister. Who has power? Who has more power than Anita among you people? You don't know. I was a member of parliament. I used to say speak as ordinary person. Do you know that when Among is entering the parliament, everybody, they close off all doors? It is like Museveni has entered. You see, that's what it is. I asked the members of parliament, what is this? They say, Munang. If even members of parliament line up to see the speaker, I had never seen a speaker like that. Kadaga has never been like that.
Yes.
Second has never been like that. Who is it? Where is he? All of them, Oranya. Even we ordinary people would go and enter. But this woman has power, has money, has everything.
The
What
power
do you
I'm
say?
talking about.
But the power they
Let's
have.
distinguish between the
Are
power.
you finished?
Please,
The power they have, I said, is not to influence governance agenda
yes.
and make it responsive for
Power
our
to keep
interest and
Mosei
needs,
happy.
but power to keep the president in
Happy.
power, and they enjoy all the resources and they enjoy all the funds,
I'm happy
just
you
like
made the
all
mistake.
men, just like all other leaders. Don't isolate women and bash them. It is the system. All the leaders are like that.
Okay, thank you, Honorable.
Okay.
Thank you, Nana. We've closed this chapter. Now we're going to charity.
I thought
So
we
Jen
finished.
Francis Abodo is a distinguished lawyer, very well, highly trained lawyer.
Yes.
And she has risen through the ranks
Got
from the
challenge.
time when she was a junior state attorney. She gathered information as a state attorney and distinguished herself even at the anti-corruption court. If you followed what Jen Francis did at the anti-corruption court, that is the time she distinguished herself on several cases. And it is after the anti-corruption court that we saw her now come, if you remember the case of Mosei Radio and the manslaughter, she managed to get manslaughter out of the person that had caused the death of Mosei Radio. It wasn't going to happen if it wasn't Jen Francis Abodo. Now, Jen Francis Abodo also has run this DPP's office slightly different from other DPPs, and this is where I come from. She has promoted plea bargain. Plea bargain is an ADR, or an alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Now, for criminal cases, plea bargain was a very difficult domain to lift. Why? Because it looked like you can commit a crime and then go resolve it through alternative dispute resolution. Our criminal justice system emphasizes the judicial process other than alternative dispute resolution. Why? Because it is punitive in nature, that you who killed must also be in prison for life. Okay? So we like that. We feel like as if the person who killed has finally also got a punishment. But the person who died has actually died. So Abodo, in her understanding of alternative dispute resolution, then promoted what we call plea bargain. Plea bargain is you have served, let's say, 50 or 60 years. You're in prison, but you are saying, I am guilty. Yes, I committed that crime. But you begin to have an agreement with the people for whom you committed a crime. And I can give you the case of Matthew Kanyamunyu and the Matoput, which he had to undertake when he went to northern Uganda after killing Akena. He shot Akena at Lugogo bypass. And once Akena was dead, he tried to kill the case. That is Matthew. And at first he thought they could win the case. But his lawyers realized he was guilty. So he agreed to the guilt. And he went to the DPP. And he told the DPP, I'm guilty. I actually killed Akena. But I want to go to his people, apologize to them, and tell them in public that I did it, but I'm guilty and I am sorry. If they forgive me, we go through the process of plea bargain, and I fulfill all the processes that they want me to go through in Matoput. The DPP did give him a chance, and he went through plea bargain, and the relatives of Akena, the mother especially, agreed to the plea bargain process. Matthew Kanyamunyu served 5 years in prison, and he left prison, and somehow he also stopped dreaming about the dead boy, because he said he had been tortured.
1 in
by-
1,000
by
cases.
No, it's not 1
And
in
because
1,000.
Kanyamunyu comes from a background of powerful people,
It's-
let's not waste time praising
Nana,
these people.
Nana, please.
Some of us have personal pain about this
I
system.
understand, but
There
she
is
is
no
protected
useful
for
power.
now. She is protected.
There is
for
no
now.
useful power.
She's
These
protected.
women are praising other women because we do not understand what's happening to the Ugandan on the bottom of this ugly pyramid.
You mean
We must understand
you
it,
mean
you
we,
people.
you are the leader who is coming to know everything?
I am not.
What about some
But
of
let
us who
us
have
agree
seen
that
the thing?
Abodo has reigned over whatever DPP office that has the biggest backlog of cases. We shall not come here and praise her.
Shut up.
Stop.
Stop
Hapana.
discussing this woman. It's not even
Charity is
good to
protected.
discuss.
Then we
You
better
should
not
discuss
discuss them.
office.
She is talking about what she has done, and regardless of what has taken
She has
place,
done
she
good.
has done some things, and there are other things that
But
she
in a
falls short.
rotten-
Jailed
Look,
people
let-
for speaking up.
But
I
in a
beg
rot-
you,
she
I
has
beg
done
you,
what
she's
she has done, but
protected.
in a rotten system.
She's protected.
Yeah, I told you.
She's protected. Charity, please.
Yes, so as much as the system,
This anger will
you
not help
must
you
say
in
that
politics.
institutional.
The sweetness
Please,
we are
please,
showing
I
here
beg
will
you.
not help us as Ugandans.
Ladies, please. Let
The
Charity
sweetness
finish.
we are smearing with Museveni and his
Let
rot and
Charity
his killing.
finish and the debate continue after. How about that?
Hey, when shall we go home, Haro?
The debate can continue after the show. I'm
Okay,
saying
okay.
yes.
Thank you, Nancy. I want us to look at institutions, government and governance from always very objective points of view. I say the things that I say about Jane Francis, not because I think she's an angel walking
A
on
president,
planet Earth.
excuse me, let me
But
leave. A president of the Law Society is in exile for having allegedly insulted a woman who has jailed women for speaking up. I beg to leave. Invite me next time for a
Goodbye.
different topic.
No, don't come back here.
Take this thing. A president of an entire law society is in exile, and we are here praising a DPP, a woman who has jailed us. I'm sorry, ladies, I have to leave. You know, the pain Museveni has caused, to some of us, it gets personal. To sit here and use cosmetic language about people like Abodo. The backlog of
This
cases.
Abodo kakol right.
Please, Honorable Miria, let her finish, then we can.
You
we
go
can
goodbye. Don't
we can
discuss
close,
this girl, this lady.
Yes,
Because-
so Jane Francis Abodo may not be the angel that walks on planet Earth, and she has her own mishaps in society. But as a lawyer, as a person who has served through the system, Jane Francis Abodo has distinguished herself. And I think that for you to be a principal judge, and I speak this from a very legal position, you manage the High Court, you manage all the magistrates' courts.
Yeah.
That is a powerful position for a woman to occupy. And as a woman, she will have influence on the things that she sees happening. Of course, like we all know, the state does have powerful arm. If you look the world over, even Trump right now tried to influence the courts of law in America. But it's just that they have systems that have been tested and tried for a very long time. So Uganda has its court systems that do sometimes rule terribly. Like, for example, when Parliament passed this bill of the UPDF Act, the UPDF Act, Parliament reinstated what court had said should not be reinstated, because court said that, look, Ugandans should be not tried in civilian courts. So there are times when there is a win and there are times when there is a loss. But that doesn't mean that Jane Frances Abodo is a bad choice for the principal judge. She's a good choice for the principal judge. I have a lot of confidence in her because at the DPP's office, she was able to transform that office, and many people who have worked below her feel empowered because she knows the work she has done as a judicial officer.
And she's
Okay,
a,
she
she's
brings
a godly woman.
A really good
Thank you
career.
so much, ladies, for this insightful conversation. Thank you, my panelists, for staying through till the end. And we also thank Nana in her absentia. As we close, one thing is clear. Women's rise into leadership in Uganda is both a triumph and a test.
Yeah.
And Justice Abodo has her work cut out for her, but also the conflicts with women in this system is manufactured by powers beyond their control. Thank you so much. My name is Nancy Caroline Ayot. Thank you for keeping it women speaking. Good afternoon.